honor to whom honor is due. I thank the Lord for everyone who's come in for this Sabbath service. I thank the Lord for being here on Sabbath day. With the help of the Lord, I plan to read from the book of Ruth, first chapter. First, we pray and make some comments. Father God, in this Okay, the book of Ruth, first chapter. Now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled that there was a famine in the land, and a certain man of Bethlehem, Judah, went to sojourn in the country of Moab, he and his wife and his 2 sons. And the name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife was Naomi, and the name of his 2 sons Mahlon and Chilion, Ephrathites of Bethlehem, Judah. And they came into the country of Moab and continued there. And Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left and her 2 sons. And they took them wives of the women of Moab. The name of the one was Orpah, and the name of the other was Ruth. And they dwelled there about 10 years. And Mahlon and Chilion died also, both of them. And the woman was left of her 2 sons and her husband. And then she arose with her daughters-in-law, that she might return from the country of Moab, for she had heard in the country of Moab how that the Lord had visited his people and given them bread. Wherefore she went forth out of the place where she was, and her daughters-in-law with her. And they went on the way to return unto the land of Judah. And Naomi said unto her 2 daughters-in-law, Go, return each to her mother's house. The Lord deal kindly with you as you have dealt with the dead and with me. The Lord grant you that ye may find rest, each of you in the house of her husband. Then she kissed them, and they lifted up their voice and wept. They said unto her, Surely we will return with thee unto thy people. And Naomi said, Turn again, my daughters. Why will ye go with me? Are there yet any more sons in my womb that may be your husbands? Turn again, my daughters, go your way, for I am too old to have a husband. And if I should say I have hope, if I should have a husband also tonight, and should also bear sons, would ye tarry for them till they were grown? Would you stay for them from having husbands? Nay, my daughters, for it grieveth me much for your sakes that the hand of the Lord is gone out against me. And they lifted up their voice and wept again. And Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clave unto her. And she said, Behold, thy sister-in-law is gone back unto her people and unto her gods. Return thou after thy sister-in-law. And Ruth said, Entreat me not to leave thee, or to return from following after thee. For whither thou goest, I will go, and where thou lodgest, I will lodge. Thy people shall be my people, and thy God my God. Whereas thou diest, will I die, and there will I be buried. The Lord do so to me, and more also, if aught but death part thee and me. And when she saw that she was steadfastly minded to go with her, then she left speaking unto her. So they too went until they came to Bethlehem. And it came to pass when they were come to Bethlehem that all the city was moved about them. And they said, Is this Naomi? And she said unto them, Call me not Naomi, call me Mara, for the Almighty had dealt very bitterly with me. I went out full, and the Lord hath brought me home again empty. Why then call ye me Naomi, seeing the Lord hath testified against me, and the Almighty hath afflicted me? So Naomi returned, and Ruth the Moabitess, her daughter-in-law, with her, which returned out of the country of Moab. And they came to Bethlehem in the beginning of the barley harvest. And thank the Lord for reading the book of Ruth, first chapter, starting the first verse. Now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled, there was no king in Israel. The judges, actually a judge would rule till he died, another judge would take over, like in the book of Judges. Now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled that there was a famine in the land. A certain man of Bethlehem, Judah, went to sojourn in the land of Moab, he and his wife and his 2 sons. So it's Naomi and her 2 sons and her husband. And the name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife Naomi, and the name of his 2 sons Mahlon and Chilion, Ephrathites of Bethlehem, Judah. So it was from the tribe of Judah, the town of Bethlehem. That's where it's from specifically, Ephrathites of Bethlehem, Judah. And they came into the land of Moab and continued there. Elimelech, Naomi's husband, he died, and she was left just with her 2 sons. And the two sons, and they took them wives of the women of Moab, the Moabitess women. They took 2 wives from the country of Moab. And the name of of one was Orpah, and the name of the other was Ruth, and they dwelt there about 10 years. So now it says in the 5th verse, it says, Mahlah and Chilion died also, both of them, and the woman was left with her 2 sons and a husband. She had no one left but her daughters-in-law. So the 6th verse said, Then she arose with her daughters-in-law, that she might return from the country of Moab, for she had heard that in the country of Moab how that the Lord had visited his people and given them bread. There's now, the family is easing up in Judah. She wants to go back home. She has nobody, she has no husband, her children are dead, so she wants to go back home. And the 7th verse says, Wherefore she went forth out of the place where she was, and the 2 daughters-in-law with her, and she went on the way to return unto Judah. So daughter-in-laws are still following, even though the husbands are dead. They love their mother-in-law. So in the 8th verse, Naomi's being nice to them. And these are young women. They have a chance to marry somebody else. Why are you going to come with me? So Naomi said unto her 2 daughters-in-law, Go, return each of you to her mother's house. The Lord deal kindly with you as you have dealt with the dead, meaning my 2 sons, and with me. So the 9th verse said, The Lord grant you that ye may find rest each of you in the house of her husband. Then she kissed them and they lifted their voices, and wept. So the 10th verse says that they said unto her, Surely we will return. So both of them said it at first. They both said that they loved their mother, but they was going to stay with her. And they said unto her, Surely we will return with thee unto thy people. They were going to come and just stay with their mother-in-law. They were going to live with them, they were going to stay with their mother. So 11th verse says, Naomi said, Turn again, my daughters. Why will you go with me? Are there yet any more sons in my womb that may be your husbands? So why are you going to come with me? You got no future, you come with me. You're not going to get married. I have no other sons to give you. Why would you want to come with me? So the 12th verse says, Turn again, my daughters. Go your way, for I am too old to have a husband. So there's no way. I'm too old to have a husband. And if I should say I have hope to have a husband, if I should have a husband also this very night, and should also bear sons. 13th verse says, Would you tarry? Would you wait for them until they were grown? Would you stay from having husbands, like stay away from men until they were grown? Would you stay with people, maybe wanting to marry you until they were grown? And at least 20 years, you figure. It says, Nay, my daughters, for it grieveth me but much for your sakes that the hand of the Lord is gone out against me, because the daughters-in-law, they have no husbands, and the daughter-in-laws want to go with her, and she's got nothing to give them. I mean, she's telling them, just go and get a life. You're young, get married, go back to your people. I have nothing to offer you. So the 14th verse says, They lifted up their voices and wept again. And Orpah listened. She listened this time. She was just going to steadfast. She was going to go with her mother-in-law. Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clave unto her mother. She said, I don't care about my sons. I'm staying with you. I belong with you. So she really loved her mother-in-law. So 15th verse says, And she said, Behold, thy sister-in-law is gone back unto her people and unto her God. Return thou like thy sister-in-law. She wants to do, she doesn't want, a young woman like that to, just give up her life and follow her. She has nothing to give her in her mind. But I believe this thing is of God. So the 16th verse says, And Ruth said, Entreat me not. Don't try to tell me to leave you, because that ain't going to happen. And Ruth said, Entreat me not to leave thee, or to return from following after thee. For whither thou goest, I will go, and where thou lodgest, I will lodge. Thy people shall be my people, and thy God shall be my God. So Ruth said, I'm not going nowhere. Don't ask me to leave you or return from following after you. For wherever you go, that's where I'm going to be. And where you lodge, where you live, where you stay, that's where I'm going to live. That's where I'm going to lodge. That's where I'm going to stay. And your people is going to be my people. And your God is going to be my God. And the 17th verse says, Where thou diest, will I die. So basically Ruth is telling her mother-in-law, where you die, that's where I'm going to die. She says, I'm with you. I belong to you. I'm your daughter. Whether thou diest, will I die. And there will I be buried. The Lord do so to me, and more also, if aught but death part thee and me. So the only thing that'll part me and you, Ruth is telling her mother-in-law Naomi, is death. I'm not going nowhere. You my mother. So the 18th verse says, So when Naomi saw, when she saw that she was steadfastly minded to go with her, she left speaking with her. She said, she's not playing. She got her mind made up. I can't tell her nothing that's going to dissuade her. So the 19th verse says, So they two went until they came to Bethlehem. And it came to pass when they were come to Bethlehem that all the city was moved about them. It says, This Naomi. Naomi left with her husband and sons so many years ago. And they said unto them, call me not Naomi, call me Mara. Almighty, for the Almighty hath dealt very bitterly with me. So 21 says, I went out full, and the Lord had brought me home empty. Why then call ye me Naomi, seeing the Lord hath testified against me, and the Almighty hath afflicted me? So 22 says, Naomi returned, and Ruth, the Moabitess, her daughter-in-law, with her, which returned out of the country of Moab, and they came to Bethlehem in the beginning of the barley harvest. So I guess Naomi's telling them, I guess Naomi must have been something like a good name, meant something good, like maybe blessed or something like that. Just don't call me Naomi, call me Mora, which probably meant something opposite of being blessed, because the Lord God had seemingly afflicted her. But with all these things that happened to Naomi, Ruth became her daughter, and more than a daughter-in-law. And the Bible says that she became the ancestor of one of the people that actually was in Jesus's line, because she eventually married Boaz, and I think Boaz, they had a son, and his name was Obed, and Obed had a son when he was old enough, and he got married, had children. He had a son, his name was Jesse. And then Jesse, when he got married, had children, one of his kids was David. So through Ruth, the Moabitess, the line of Jesus was set up. So I believe that God had this all along. She went down there for a reason. She might have went down there, she thought full and came back empty, but she did exactly what she was supposed to do. She brought Ruth back with her, and by bringing Ruth back with her, Ruth became one of the people that brought Jesus into the world. Jesus came because he's a spirit. He came down. But as far as his how would you say, his
lineage?
His lineage, his fleshly lineage is through David, and it came through Ruth. So through all of that, it came through Ruth by her being loyal to her mother-in-law. And I believe God had it set up all in the first place. And that's all I can say.